The optional calculation for multifamily dwellings found in Article 220.32 of the National Electrical Code applies specifically to the apartment loads, not to the entire building load. Let's walk through the correct calculation method step by step. Firstly, calculate the apartment loads according to Part Roman II of Article 220. To do this, multiply the number of apartments by the square footage of each apartment. In this case, 34 apartments multiplied by 846 square feet equals 28,764 square feet. Then, according to Part Roman II of Article 220, use 3 volt-amps per square foot for general lighting and receptacle loads. So 28,764 square feet multiplied by 3 volt-amps per square foot equals 86,292 volt-amps. Secondly, calculate the total apartment load, including appliances. This involves itemizing and summing the loads of all appliances in all apartments. For small appliance circuits, multiply the number of apartments by the number of small appliance circuits per apartment and by the load per circuit. Here, that's 34 apartments multiplied by 2 small appliance circuits multiplied by 1500 watts, resulting in 102,000 watts. For laundry circuits, multiply the number of apartments by the number of laundry circuits per apartment and by the load per circuit. With 34 apartments, 1 laundry circuit each, and 5,000 watts per circuit, the result is 170,000 watts. For electric ranges, multiply the number of apartments by the kilowatt rating of the range in each apartment. With 34 apartments and a 12 kilowatt range in each, the load is 408,000 watts. For clothes dryers, multiply the number of apartments by the kilowatt rating of the dryer in each apartment. If there are 34 apartments, each with a 5 kilowatt dryer, the load is 170,000 watts. For air conditioners, multiply the number of apartments by the wattage of each air conditioner. If there are 34 apartments, each with a 1500 watt air conditioner, the load is 51,000 watts. Similarly, if each of the 34 apartments has a 1200 watt air conditioner, the load is 40,800 watts. For water heaters, multiply the number of apartments by the wattage of each water heater. With 34 apartments and a 4,000 watt water heater in each, the load is 136,000 watts. To determine the total apartment load with appliances, add up all the individual appliance loads calculated above. This means summing the small appliance circuit load, laundry circuit load, range load, dryer load, and air conditioner and water heater loads. Doing so results in a total of 1,078,092 volt-amps. Thirdly, calculate the total load, including house loads. To do this, add the apartment load with appliances to the house loads. If the apartment load with appliances is 1,078,092 volt-amps and the house loads are 11,520 volt-amps, the total load is 1,089,612 volt-amps. Fourthly, apply the demand factor from Article 220.32. According to this article, a 30% demand factor can be applied to the total load. To apply the demand factor, multiply the total load by 0.30. If the total load is 1,089,612 volt-amps, multiplying by 0.30 gives a result of 326,883.6 volt-amps. Therefore, based on these calculations, the calculated multifamily dwelling load is 326,883.6 volt-amps. It's important to accurately calculate the service of feeder size for multifamily dwelling. Using the optional calculation method as outlined in Article 220.32 of the National Electrical Code, and correctly applying the demand factors will ensure a safe and efficient electrical system. Be certain to consult the latest edition of the NEC and local amendments, as requirements may vary depending on location and jurisdiction. By understanding these steps, you can confidently perform load calculations for multifamily dwellings and ensure compliance with electrical codes.